Welcome. Subscribe my channel, like, comment and share my videos to get new videos. Today we will discuss about the environment of plants. The book reference of this slide presentations are Introduction to Physiological Plant Ecology by P. Bannister, Physiological Plant Ecology by Larcher Wattler. Environment of plants. A plant's environment consists of atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. All the physical and chemical factors characterize the habitats of plants by the influence of other co-occurring microorganisms. Atmosphere, a gaseous layer of more than 1000 kilometers thick that, that surrounds the earth. Structure of atmosphere. Number one, this is thermosphere. Temperature are very high, 2000 degrees Celsius. The thermosphere includes the ionosphere. Number two, mesosphere. The air is very dense in this layer. Number three, stratosphere. The ozone layer is located at a height of between 30 and 50 kilometer that absorb UV rays. And the number four is troposphere. It is the innermost layer of the atmosphere. Plants come to contact in this layer. Air pressure and temperature decrease with increasing distance from the earth. The extreme temperature stability remains above troposphere, resulting the accumulation of all water vapor and emitted gases and substances in this layer. The nature of these zones varies over short distance and is characterized by weather event, meteorological event, climate. Depending on the terrain and on the density, height and type of vegetation, individual climate regions are found: macroclimate, microclimate, and interface. Thus, radiation, temperature, precipitation, and air that are exposed to the parts of the plants varies in space and times. Now, the composition of atmosphere. The air of the troposphere consists of 70% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 0.035% carbon dioxide, and other rare gases are 0.95%. Besides water vapor, trace gases such as methane, sulfate, halides, volatile nitrogen compounds, ozone, aerosols, ash, dust, soot also presents. The atmosphere contains 1200 into 10 to the power 12 tons of oxygen. Photosynthesis by autotrophic organisms release most of it, in which contribution of phytoplankton in the ocean is greater than the terrestrial vegetation. The atmosphere contains 720 into 10 to the power 9 tons of carbon in the form of carbon dioxide. Depending on the terrain and on the density, height, and type of vegetation, individual regions are formed: macroclimate, microclimate, and interface. Thus, radiation, temperature, precipitation, and air that are exposed to the parts of plants varies in space and times. Hydrosphere comprises of the oceans, groundwaters, inland waters, polar ice, and water in the atmosphere. The structure of hydrosphere. Oceans, 74% of the world's total water reserve. Groundwater, second largest reservoir of the water, only 1% is close to plant roots. Water in the atmosphere, clouds, fog, and water vapor contains 0.01% of the total water on the earth. Surface or inland waters accounts for only a small portion of the hydrosphere but crucial for plants environment. Chemical nature of hydrosphere. Chemical constituents for oceans or seawater: cations, sodium chloride, magnesium ion, calcium ion, potassium ion. The anions will be the sulfate, bicarbonate, bromide. Number three, the other elements will be silicates, organically bound nitrogen in very low concentration. On the other hand, in fresh water, large quantities of calcium ion and bicarbonate ion. Mineral solutes are transported to into surface water through inflows or sediment erosions from the shores. Now pH. From the figure, the effect of pH on the carbonate system in seawater indicates the solid lines and fresh water in broken lines. Shaded area, average pH value of seawater. The ordinate indicates the percentage of the total carbon dioxide or carbonate present at pH values. The pH of hydrosphere is dependent on which of the proportion of aqueous carbon dioxide, bicarbonate or carbonate is the most predominant. The proportion of aqueous carbon dioxide is high at acidic range. When carbon dioxide dissolves in seawater, most of it becomes bicarbonate ion and hydrogen ions. These increases in hydrogen ions is what decreases the pH. And the reactions are the carbon dioxide addition with water to form hydrogen carbonate. Then hydrogen carbonate uh, dispersed into hydrogen ion and hydrogen bicarbonate, and the bicarbonate ions are broken to form hydrogen ion and carbonate ion. It is ultimately the rates of occurrence and net direction of the above reactions that determine seawater pH and carbonate availability. The production of bicarbonate and carbonate at above pH 9 in seawater average pH is at 7 to 8.9 where bicarbonate predominant. Chemical nature of hydrosphere. Now we will discuss about the dissolved carbon dioxide. The water of oceans and lakes contain 0.14% of the all carbon on the earth in the form of bicarbonate and carbonate ions or as dissolved inorganic carbon DIC. The majority of carbon occurs in deep waters of the oceans due to its higher volume. The surface water contains a mere 0.2% of the organic carbon of the hydrosphere produced by autotrophic organisms. Some of organic carbon sink into the lower ocean level as detritus or calcium carbonate in shells, and some are converted into particulate organic carbon or dissolved organic carbon DOC, and from this form into dissolved organic carbon. Chemical nature of hydrosphere: dissolved oxygen. Dissolved oxygen enters water through the air or as a plant byproduct of photosynthesis from phytoplankton, algae, seaweed, and other aquatic plants. In a stable body of water with no stratification, dissolved oxygen will remain at 100% air saturation. Plant life and phytoplankton require dissolved oxygen for respiration when there is no light for photosynthesis. In poorly mixed waters, the oxygen concentration below the euphotic zone drops steadily with increasing depth. This is due to the oxygen consumption by animals, microorganisms, and reducing substances in the detritus. Hence, deep waters may be completely anoxic, deployed of oxygen where circulation is poor, the Baltic or Black Sea. The dissolved oxygens are shown in the figure with the region of apolimnion thermocline and hypolimnion. Now, dissolved carbon dioxide and oxygen. The carbon dioxide and oxygen contents of the uppermost and best illuminated layers of the water, which is known as euphotic zone, fluctuate diurnally and seasonally due to the photosynthetic rhythm of the photoautotrophic organisms. The figure shows that changes in the concentration of dissolved carbon dioxide, bicarbonate, and oxygen at 20 to 22 degrees Celsius and pH 7 to 8 through 24 hours in a fish pond in Central Europe on a sunny day, July. Now we will talk about the lithosphere, the rigid outer part of the earth consisting of the crust and upper mantle. It extends to depth of about 100 kilometers. It is broken into about a dozen of separate rigid blocks of plates. Hydrosphere, the temperature. Only the uppermost water body absorbs incoming radiation and increases in temperature while deeper waters remain cold. Warm water is less dense than cold water. The movement of water by wind and tides eliminates the density gradients until a certain depth. The so-called thermocline, which separates the water body into cold and warm water. Near the poles and in equatorial regions, the water temperature of open oceans remain constant throughout the year. Through mixing of water body takes place only when surface water cools down sufficiently such that in fall and in spring or in winter at mid and high latitudes or diurnally in equatorial regions. Only the uppermost water body absorbs the incoming radiation. I hope this slide is duplicated of the previous one. I am just skipping it. And now you are seeing the mixing of water in spring, in summer, in autumn, and in winter. If I talk about the figure description, seasonal calculation, sorry, seasonal circulation of water as well as depth gradients of temperature, the solid light indicating it, and oxygen which is indicated by the dashed line in a temperate lake. During stratification, the water column separates into three different layers with little exchange of water and nutrients. The metalimnion or thermocline is the layer where temperature changes drastically. The layers above and below the metalimnion are the apolimnion and hypolimnion respectively. Lithosphere. The outer crust of the earth is composed of igneous rock, metamorphic rock, sedimentary rock, silicate materials, and carbonate materials, carbonate minerals. Now, igneous rock, which is formed as the magma cooled down and crystallized. Metamorphic rocks originated from volcanic and sedimentary rock following tectonic movements such as slate, phyllite, quartz, etc. Sedimentary rocks formed by the compaction and cementation of sediments, principal chemical constituent of the earth's crust required by living organisms to build up their body substances. In silicate materials, quartz, feldspar, augite, hornblende, mica, and the carbonate minerals are calcite, dolomite. Other chemicals, ores, phosphates, sulfates, alkali salts, fossil carbon beds, etc. Soil surface characterized by leaching ores and salt are colonized by specialized plants. Only a few pioneer plants such as cyanobacteria, aerial algae, lichen, and mosses are capable of thriving on bare rocks or sands. Soil formation. The lithosphere provides the basic material for soil formation. All soils initially come from rocks. This is termed the parent material. The soil formation process is termed pedogenesis. The parent material may be directly below the soil or great distance away if wind, water, or glaciers have transported the soil. Soils are formed by weathering and the humification of plant detritus, detritus and dead soil organisms. The first one is weathering. During physical weathering, rock surfaces break up into small particles and frost causes crevices. During chemical weathering, soluble salts are released out. Weathering is promoted by roots penetrating rock crevices and by plants and microorganisms releasing exudates. Climatic conditions are important factors affecting both the form and rate of physical and chemical weathering of the parent material. In the warm, humid climates of tropics and subtropics, the combined effects of frequent shrinking and swelling and intense chemical weathering cause to the degradation of soil minerals to iron hydroxides and amorphous soil colloids and therefore become sterile. The next one is humus formation. The breakdown of plants' detritus results in chemically stable substances which are dark, small particles, high molecular substances composed of calcium 44 to 58%, carbon 0.5 to 4%, nitrogen 42 to 46% oxygen and 6 to 8% hydrogen. Litter is converted to lignin, cutin, and humic substances. The decomposition rate of litter depends on the plant species and plant covers, the decomposability of the organic matter, the chemistry and pH of the weathered substances, and climatic condition. For instances, in tropical rainforest, almost all litter is decomposed during 1 year, whereas in deciduous forest of the temperate zone it takes 2 to 4 years. The decomposition of organic matter is enhanced by moderately acid to moderately alkaline pH, access to oxygen, and heat and moisture. A soil profile consists of several horizons, and from figure we can see that there is a horizon, B horizon, and C horizon. O horizon, humus on the ground surface. B, if A horizon is the topsoil which is rich in organic matter, typically dark color, also called the zone of leaching. B horizon is the subsoil, also called zone of accumulation, may contain soluble mineral such as calcite in arid climates. In sea horizon, weathered bedrock or rotten rock is situated. Bedrock lies below the soil profile. Soil profile are strongly influenced by climate, vegetation, and bedrock. Soils have important functions as storage and filtering system when material is exchanged between lithosphere, soil water, soil gases, and the organisms living and rooting in them. And thank you all for listening me and seeing my video. Please subscribe for getting new videos. Thanks again.